Hello, Pre-Algebra, coming back to you with a second video going over a couple of questions that some of you guys have had, and I will walk you guys through them. Okay, so the first one was on page 2, number 10. This is the first question that I had. Okay, if the measure of the angles of the triangle, so again, the triangle has 3 angles, and the ratio of these 3 angles are 2 to 1. So these 2 angles are the same, and this third angle is half the measure of one of these other guys. Now we need to figure out what the measure of these angles are. Well, what I did was I used this proportion, and since we don't know what any of these angles are, I called them, the smallest one is x, and these other guys are 2x, right? If one of them is half the size as the other guys, this guy is twice of what that is. And I have 2 of them. Boom, boom. So 2x, 2x, and x. We know that the sum of all these angles is going to be 180. So I simply took it as 2x plus x equals 180. Okay, now let's work it out. So I have a total of 5 x's. 180. Now I'm going to divide by 5. Now I don't know what 180 divided by 5 is off the top of my head. Goes in x, 5 goes into 18 3 times, equaling 15. And 5 goes into 36 times, so x equals 36 degrees. So the smaller angle is 36 degrees, and why don't I just say 2x equals 72 degrees. So the ratio of our angles is 72, 72. Oh, that should be a 2, and I'm also going to put the degrees up there. So 72 degrees and 36 degrees. You could write that in a few different ways. You could draw a triangle with those angles. Either way, that's fine. Next one somebody asked for is number 11. The sum of the measure of interior angles of a pentagon. I went over this briefly towards the beginning, talking about there's a formula. So in order to find the sum of the interior angles, or the measure rather of the interior angles, so measure of interior angles, angles equals the sides, or the number of sides minus 2 times 180. This is the formula right here. So it will equal the number of sides minus 2. Pentagon has 5 sides, so this is going to be 5 minus 2 times 180. And tell me what that equals. Okay. All right, moving on. The next questions that were given to me are 16 and 17. These are tough ones. They're both based on, I think it was 12.6. That was the special right triangles. And so let's look at number 16 first, and let's answer these 2 questions first, right? In order to find the perimeter, we need to know the measure of all of our sides. Well, for a 45, 45, 90 triangle, we know that these 2 sides, the legs, are going to be the same, right? It's 1, 1, 1 root 2. That's the ratio. But this isn't 1, it's 3, so it's going to be 3, 3, 3 root 2. Boom, that's it. And in order to find out what the perimeter is now, it's going to be 3 plus 3 plus 3 root 2. 3 plus 3 plus 3 root 2. Well, since these are multiplied together, I can't really add them, so my answer is going to be 6 plus 3 root 2. Right, and I started writing that here, so 6 plus 3 root 2. Okay. For number 17, I'll tell you the answer because you saw how quickly we figured it out once we had the measure of the sides. So for a 30, 60, 90 triangle, which is what we have for number 17, it's a slightly different ratio. It's 1, 2, square root of 3. Well, since this is the ratio number 2, we know that these are our perimeter. 1 plus 2 plus square root of 3. Okay, so go ahead, add these up. You can circle them. And I'll actually go ahead and tell you that you're not going to need this unless you just put a number 1 up front. You could just have plus. And there you go. Let's move on. The last page. For numbers 21 and 22, all you guys need to do is cross multiply and solve for x. 22, I'll, again, because we're just looking up the missing side, missing shape. So this one, let's see, what did I do? 5 over 4. 5 over 4 equals x over 6. Again, there's a few different ways you can set it up. You could set it up with the same shape and corresponding sides. You could set it up with the corresponding sides right. There's a few different ways that you could do it. You end up multiplying and it ends up the same no matter what. So this is going to give us 30 equals 4x divided by 4 divided by 4. So x is going to equal 7.5. Okay, I only have about a minute left for this next part. I'll show you one step. Okay, again, distance formula. Distance formula, let's find AB. Distance formula, the distance equals the square root of, let's do x1 minus x2. So A, B, I'm going to subtract these two, negative 4 minus negative 2. That's going to be squared. I add that to my y's, the difference of my y's, 2 minus negative 3 squared. Again, all of this, I'm going to take the square root of. Oh, I'm running quickly out of time. I got to go. But I hope this helps. Just follow the math and you guys will get it. Love you. Bye.